Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the world's biggest stars and some of my favourite people. And you know I have undying love for Brian Conley. How are you?
But in a butch way, I hope.
In a manly kind of way. There's a lot of it about in show business. Fortunately, being ginger, I don't get any.
I'm saying nothing. There's nothing wrong with me. At least you've got hair, you know. At least we both have, thank God.
There is that. Hey, listen, on Tuesday night, there I was, sat in a theatre watching you in Barnum, which is this new production that's going to be touring the UK for about 17 years, it seems, according to your list of dates. And you are the man that, under the poster, says the world's greatest showman. That's quite a challenge. Mate, you are. Congratulations.
Oh, bless you. Thank you very much. Well, we've all worked extremely hard. You know, I knew a year ago, so the whole thing with walking on a tightrope, I started at Christmas, so been doing that for 7 months. It was quite daunting, but then I also took on the world's greatest entertainer when I played Jolson, so I don't do things by halves. I'm loving it. I think it's everything I wanted it to be, the show. It's got such energy, such pathos, such great comedy, and I'm just honoured to be part of it. And the fact that Sir Cameron is the head of the helm, you know. Is that the right word? Would you say head of the helm?
Yeah, well, he's
all right.
Verging on royalty, isn't he?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, he's put on more musicals than anyone in the world. So for him to do it, I mean, just my opening costume cost 10 grand, you know. I mean, it is. And he's the only person that can put on something like this and not worry about it too much, where everyone else is sweating, oh, we're going to make our money back. He can invest right from the off, you know, and it shows, even with a huge orchestra, 23 of us in the show. 9 of them are especially circus performers, so that is exciting. And no, I'm absolutely delighted, and you know, it's just all it's a dream come true for me, because very daunting at the beginning. It was the very first show I ever saw in London's glittering West End. It's Michael Crawford, and then when they said to me, who's a co-producer, Michael Harrison, rung me and said, you know, they're putting on a show in Chichester. Would you like to, you know, and we're thinking we'd love you to sort of take it on tour. And then I went to see it and thought, oh dear, you know, all right, let's give it a go. I think I'm not getting any younger, and it's something that I really wanted to do. And there's so many aspects to it, and it is without doubt the biggest part in any musical. You're on all the time. From the moment it starts, you're juggling, you're walking on stilts, you're doing tumbling. So there's all these elements that I had to learn, you know, that eventually came to fruition. So I am absolutely delighted. I never ever, the whole tightrope thing, I've used more muscles than I ever knew I had. The most I ever done was walk the dogs. So I'm now, I can put that on my CV, that 6 foot up I can walk on a tight wire. There's a lot of skill involved, and I really, first couple of months I kept going, I don't think I could do this, you know. I really don't think I can, but you know, it suddenly got together. And then what you don't cater for is 1,200, 1,500 people looking at you. You know, you can't sort of recreate that in a rehearsal room, so there's that. But everything's there, and I think how we've adapted it from Chichester and rewritten the second half, and I've added some comedy as well. You know, I think it's a cracking night, and I think without doubt it's one of the proudest things I've ever been a part of.
A young man couldn't do this role because you've got to know how to come on and be the greatest showman, and you've either got that or you haven't. That can't be acted.
You can't be taught that. I think experience plays a big part. I mean, initially you come on and you literally just talk to them, you know, and to sort of, you know, the first couple of nights, that's quite daunting, because you are, you know, inside you're churning up. Oh God, because once you go out there, that's it. You're on for the whole of the first half and the second. You know, so it's experience, and maybe that's sort of forgotten about these days. But the word experience is what it is, and you know, I've been doing it from the age of 12, in my 50s now. You know, and. I couldn't have done this show, 20 years ago. You know, I wouldn't have known how to sort of cope with it. And the darker side of it, you know, I think you've had to live life to be able to tell those stories, you know, and things like that. And having sort of, you know, dark moments yourself when my father died and things like that. You know, you can draw on that when you're doing the pathos. You know, but it's a wonderful vehicle, and I'm really excited, and it's selling very well, and I just couldn't be happy. For me, it's all about the show. If the show's working, I'm happy and I'm delighted. I really am.
From an Anoraki radio point of view, you know I have admiration for your voice. I always have. But bigger than your speaking voice is your singing voice, and the way you can get depth and a broad church of sound from it is extraordinary. That's how you're able to do Jolson so brilliantly. In this, how taxing is it? Because the points you're screaming, then you're singing lightly, then you're having to boom and show off. It asks so much of you, doesn't it?
When I done Jolson, we went into a recording studio, just laid down 4 tracks in the afternoon, and just because everyone kept going, do you sound like Jolson? And I never thought I could sound like Jolson, but eventually I did. And I couldn't talk at the end of this afternoon, and I thought, oh my God, I've got to do a whole show. Then as I'd done the show, it was a bit at first, but then it just, and you just, like, dare I even put me in the same category as this, but like an athlete, it trains up and you become, I've just done a show moments ago, so it's not too bad, it's okay. I got a friend of mine, my little daughter was there one day, and he is really muscular. And his son was there, and he said, my dad's really muscly. And my little daughter went, my dad's got all his muscles in his throat. And I thought, oh, isn't that lovely? And I suppose I have. I was always say I'm born to sing. Everything else I learned from a very young age. I mimicked my father, who was a very keen opera singer in an amateur way. He never done it professionally, but at the age of 5, my little party piece was that I could do Santa Lucia and the Granada and all these operatic things because I mimicked him and listened to the records. And so, I could have gone into opera, who knows. Always, the comedy came much later, everything else, but the singing was right from the very beginning.
When you do Granada, do you take your castanets on tour with you, or what?
They're there. I have a tour bus for them,
How do you do it on a day when you're not feeling 100%?
People forget that. They think it's natural, and it is. It's a God-given natural talent. That's what I believe. But there's a commitment as well, and I'm committed. If there is a crowd, I have to take them somewhere, and it is my job. I've never courted the press. It doesn't bother me, fame. I love being in front of a crowd, and I hope that's not taken in a big-headed way. I will go on holiday. We went to Tenerife this year, and I sat in a little lounge bit, and they had a little group on that were from Tenerife, and my kids were there, and it was us and probably about 8 other people, and they started singing Fly Me to the Moon, and I went, oh, can I have a go? And I was just, fly me to the moon and let me play, and I just have to get up. I just have to do it, whether there's money involved or not. I have to, and my office know that. If I have about 3 weeks off, they go, oh, he's ringing again. I say, oh, you got to get me something. Go and get me a cruise, because cruises have been good to me over the years. I've been all seeing the world, and I've enjoyed doing the odd cruise, but you can phone them at a drop of a hat and say, and they go, oh, do you want to go to Singapore for a week? Oh, yeah, that'd be nice. And then they know if I've not got anything concrete in, I'll go and do a cruise. I just have to do it. If anyone says, oh, you were born to do it, that's me. I'm born to be on stage.
Do you ever stand aside from yourself and look at you from a distance and see what you do on stage, or do you have to not think about that?
No, I don't think you can. You can't analyse it. You just, I think the more experienced you are, the more relaxed you are, but there's a lot going on there that even I don't know, and I'd rather not know. And you just do it. I never even think about the words and things like that. I just, in my heart, I think, well, you know what, if I mess up the words, which I have done, I'll get out of it, I'll make something up, things like that. And that's the key thing that everyone always worries about, is drawing a complete blank on stage. And that happens, but you waffle around it, and I know that in my heart. But no, other people do. I get, especially with this has been such a challenge, and the write-ups have been phenomenal. I do get a little shiver when they say that. Even one of them said Brian Conley has saved Barnum. And then even when Mark Bramble, who wrote Barnum, said to me on the opening night, he said, when you was out there, I totally forgot that Jim Dow and Michael Crawford had ever played the part. And I went, my God. And for me, it is about making it my own, because Barnum is, whoever does it has to make it their own. and I'm so honoured to have done that, because it has been a very anxious year where I've put a lot of time and effort, because learning copious amounts, that's a very big word for me, but copious amounts of script, I mean, it's phenomenal, the amount, and of course he's quite a snappy dialogue man, so there's chunks of it. There's not like, 3 lines there and 4, there are gallons and gallons, and then you've got the museum song, which goes on forever, and it's a sort of tongue twister. So that was the very first thing I learned, and so for the last year, so that I knew that when we got into 5 weeks of rehearsals, I wasn't panicking about the script, I could really focus on the job in hand. And at the end of the day, I'm absolutely honoured that Sir Cameron is part of it, and that he's genuinely pleased. And, you know, dare I say, didn't work quite well in Chichester. So, you know, can you imagine now? They're all going, oh, Brian, you made it work. And I'm like, oh, job to get my head through the door now.
Not only are you brilliant in it, but they also give you a great show as well. And let's face it, there's so much crap out there in regional theatre. To have a show...
You can't swear, can you?
I can say what we like.
No, there's so much rubbish out there.
I've seen your act. I think that's the least of our worries. When you see all these various shows, they seem to just think, OK, get it out of this. But this, I mean, they've given you a massive production, incredible lighting and a great ensemble. It must be thrilling.
If you're paying £41, you know, and you're not going on your own, are you? So it's at least 80, it's £100 by the time you've parked, you haven't even had anything to eat, you want to go away blown away, and that's, I knew that would happen with Cameron. He doesn't need the money. The man is a billionaire. He's on the Forbes rich list, you know. He owns, 9 theatres in London's West End. And he started with nothing. He used to clean the toilets at Drury Lane, and now he owns Drury Lane. The man, you know, when you're doing something for him, and because I can speak about this because I've done Oliver for him, there was 108 of us on tour. My opening jacket, the Fagin coat, this is a great example of the man. I had a photo call as Fagin, and I wore pretty much what everyone else wore, a bit of someone's costume, a bit of this, bit of that, Russ Abbott's jacket, and this big green coat that was Russ Abbott's, and it was made of goat skin. I don't know why, but my God, it was beautiful. It used to sway, and as you walked, it really ballooned out. It was a wonderful bit of art, really. But it was all threadbare, and it had to look rough because it was Fagin. So they said, photo call's fine. Yep, great photos, Brian. How's the costume? I said, costume's great. Now I'm happy with that for the tour. He said, oh, no, this is the... costume designer. No. Every Fagin gets his own coat. I said, but it's threadbare. It doesn't have to. I prefer one that's a bit. Oh no, you get your own coat. I mean, they obviously make it threadbare once it's made. I said, how much is the coat there? He said, £8,000. I went, that's why Cameron's only got $1 billion. Because he's spending it on coats. No, I think, and I'm a great believer, you've got to put something in to get something out. Word of mouth is the most important thing. You can do as much advertising as you like, but if you've got 1,000 people on that first night going away going, you have got to see it. And what I've been so pleased with here in Leicester is, it's been such a cracking show in its early days, because we are very early, we've only been doing it a week, but you can't get a seat, and it means all the singles have been bought. Now in the show, no one wants to sit. You know, they always come with a partner or a family. They don't want to sit on their own, but they are buying them up. They're happy to sit, one up in the stalls and the other one in the circle, because they all know it's a cracking night. Much more than, and really it tells the story of a man who knew how to manipulate the press and was, you know, a very influential. He was the first man in America ever to have $1 million, sorry. You know, and he went into politics, and he built a city called East Bridgeport that sunk because it was on sand. And there's some really, and he lost all his money and he got it, but all the way through there was the love of his life, Chairy. We also talk about his affair with Jenny Lind. So there's lots there, and I think they know they're in for a cracking night.
Stunning performance by you. Linzi's incredible.
Can I just say, Linzi is a very good kisser as well, because I have to kiss her a few times. My wife's a bit perturbed by that. But no, I mean, we mustn't forget Linz, because without doubt, the show lives and breathes. On the very first day, when we were all together as a production, the director said, this show lives and breathes through Barnum and his wife, Chairy. And if they don't believe that, then we don't stand a chance. And we very much took that on board, but it's so easy because she's phenomenal. I mean, it's just so natural for her. She's done so much as well. You know, I'm not in her league at all. You know, the whole everything. You can name all, reel them off the shows she's done in London. and she's just a real nice, good brummy lass, you know. And on tour, you need that. You're going to get your hands dirty. We're doing a week here, a week there. You know, it's not as though we're swanning into London's glittering West End. And that's the plan, and that's the wish and the hope, that it does go into London. I will be very honoured if we can get there, even if it's just for a short time.
I'm sure you will, because it's stunning. I've said this line twice this week. I said on Sunday night to Ken Dodd, I hope you appreciate how amazing you are, how brilliant you are, and the legacy that you leave on stage, because you're a one-off, seriously, in an industry full of people who are faking it and making probably more money than you are. To have the raw talent you've got and to do what you do to audiences is just phenomenal. Congratulations on that.
Bless you. And it is about that. I do because I love it. I mean, to have a big ensemble piece, the huge band, I don't walk out with a big wad of money, but in my heart, that's where it's full, because I love doing what I do, and I'm honoured that I get the chance to do something that I love, because we all know how many people are sort of, you know, having to struggle, and I'm doing something that I love, and I'm getting paid for it. What an honour.
I can't think of another person in Britain who could do this role as well as you, seriously, who could sing it and comede it as well as you do. It's stunning. It's on across the UK. You can find it at barnumthemusical.com. Brian Conley, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please come and see it. I promise you we won't let you down.